Anybody here have a to-do list? Raise your hand if you've ever made a list. Yes, yes. Whoop, whoop, that'd be me. So when I started in ministry and started this church, I made like 20-page lists. And it was the weirdest thing. I would work and work and work and work and work 7 days a week. I'd cross things off, and it just kept getting longer. It's like no matter what I did, I could not make this list go away. Anybody have that problem? Yeah, because we just keep adding to it, obviously. And then suddenly, I think I heard Esther Hicks one day say, it's never going to be done. It's like, oh, okay. Well, that's depressing. So I've been making less lists or shorter lists, and then I started to see that, the only time I have time for are the things that repeat every week. So I'm just doing my best with my head above the water, trying to get it all done. I'm sure that many of you can relate to that. And then I discovered that there was probably just one thing. I haven't quite managed to make this work every time, but I'm convinced that really we can get away with putting one thing on that list and all the other things will take care of themselves. I think if we just put love on the list and we get really good at it in all situations with all people, for ourselves as well, that all those other things will find their way to getting done in the right time, with the right people, and the right resources, and we won't have to work so hard. Kitty, excuse me while I talk to myself about this. Put love on the list, and we're good to go. And so that fits in perfectly today in our message series of the Colors of Spirit, because we're talking about the Hindu tradition of the chakras, and each one is represented by a color, and I'm finding ways to tie it into our Unity's 12 powers, and as you can guess, the heart chakra, which is the one that we're focused on today, is based on love. So we're going to bring these ideas together, that the heart, which if we look up here on the screen, these chakras are described by Deepak Chopra once again as the junction points between the consciousness of spirit and biology. So this truly is an opportunity for us to experience the kingdom of heaven within ourselves. When we get to know these chakras, when we keep our heart and mind open to them, that they begin to function as they were designed. They're literally an intertwined physical and spiritual center, and several of them throughout our bodies. We're really just looking at the major 7 that say, I feel the light just basking me. Yeah, come on, light, come on, bring it on in. Yeah, so it's an opportunity for us to just feel the presence of spirit from the highest perspective. That's what we're designed to know for ourselves and then live from that state of being. So when we look at this heart chakra, which is the 4th one, we talked about the root, we talked about the sacral, we talked about the solar plexus, and when we get to the heart, we're midstream because there's 3 below and there's 3 above that we haven't yet talked about, and it's kind of acting as the bridge between the physical, the materiality of life that our bodies need and our egos need versus what our spirit aspires to express through us. So I'm excited for these next few chakras. But today especially, this is the place where we discover that feeling, that knowing, that understanding of pure love. Anybody up for that today? Anybody? Anybody? Especially as we're going through this election season. Listen up, because this will serve us today, I promise you, and hopefully all the way through the election and beyond. So we've talked about how chakras affect our physical body in different locations, and the heart chakra, residing here in the chest, kind of just behind the heart, is, when it's functioning, it's affecting the heart and the lungs, and everything in the chest area, the shoulders, the arms, the hands, and it's also, it tends to work well with the element of air. So you know what you can do to help support this? Besides going out and standing in a windstorm, more importantly, start from within. How do we get air in? We breathe. So keep that in mind when you're seeking to open up your heart chakra. Do a lot of deep breathing. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit. And also, related to the color green, it tends to resonate and sing when we're wearing green, when we're eating green food, which we're going to have out there for you after the service, when we're listening to the F note. So you can literally go to YouTube and just look up F note on the scale, and it will play for you, and it tends to dissolve the barriers in the heart chakra and open it up more fully. So tap into any one of those and know that you're supporting the physicality, the mental, the emotional part of ourselves by opening up this heart chakra. Our relationship, when it's healthy with that chakra, means that up here on the screen, our physical balanced chakra affects healthy lungs, a good circulatory system, but it also creates a sense of ease in the body, a sense of calm, and it also brings open a level of, I would say, joy that you can feel physically in your body. And when the heart chakra is blocked for some human reason, then we're going to feel a lower energy. We might have issues with our lungs, could be asthma, could be bronchitis, and with the heart, which is also responsible for pumping life through our bodies. And there's all kinds of issues we might have, palpitations or poor circulation. So we're getting to a place today of finding balance so that that heart chakra can address those issues in our body from a place of well-being. More importantly, start with your behavior, with your state of beingness, your consciousness, and let's see what it's like to be balanced in the heart. When we are relating to other people from unconditional love. That's a challenge for most human beings. Unconditional love is what we know. Love, pure love to be. It's about feeling that sense of connection with all of life, not just other human beings, but a connection with our planet, with animals, with plant life. How many of you talk to your plants? Anybody talk to your plants, send it love? Yeah, they respond, don't they? There have been studies done. When we are balanced, we know how to accept others for who they are. We just allow them to be themselves. And more importantly, because if we don't have this part done, then that part doesn't work either, is to accept ourselves. To accept ourselves for who we are. And when we're not balanced in this way, then we're probably approaching life from a place of fearing rejection, assuming that people won't approve of who we are, feeling loneliness or fearing being lonely. When we're out of balance in our heart chakra, we're experiencing more cases of jealousy, where we're irritated that other people are being loved, but we're not. Or we're having trouble forgiving those who haven't loved us. And when we're out of balance in the heart chakra, we're making it difficult for ourselves to feel that oneness, to be in unity with each other and with the world. So what we want to do today is we want to look at love and get a deeper understanding of what it is so that we don't struggle with letting just the ego tell us whether you're doing it right or not. And one of the things that we talk about with love, if the ego is in charge, is that, well, let's just face it, the word itself is overused and misunderstood. How many of you have ever said, I love pizza, or I love peanut butter and chocolate ice cream? Yes, I am guilty of that. And the ego's version of love can be a selfish love. It's a love that says, you have to be and do things the way I want you to in order for me to love you. Or you have to, or I can only be loved if, I'm perfect, and I'm rarely perfect. So when we let the ego dominate that sense of understanding love, we'll never get there. We will never get there. And what the problem with that is that it starts at a very early age. You know what? It starts probably in the womb, where a baby can feel whether there is love around it or not. Doesn't have to consciously understand it, but it's going into the subconscious. How many of you have heard stories about premature babies, and if they're not getting enough love when they're in their incubator, they don't thrive? It's those that are held. And they're not even consciously understanding it. It just is an energy that needs to be felt in order for us to thrive. And then we start to notice, we get sentient and notice what's going on in our family or in our classroom or on TV. And we start to decide, oh, that's love. Oh, that's love. And it might be abusive love. It might be limiting love. Who knows what you're seeing? And then that gets stored in the subconscious, and we grow up with that, and we continue to let that be how we love, because that's what we've learned. So this is not the pure sense of divine love that is our spiritual power. And yet, we work from that and go around saying, oh, yes, I believe in love, I believe in love. But how we apply it is not healthy. So when we say, I believe in love, I'm going to ask Liz and Rick if you'll get up with your microphones, and we have microphones turned on, Enoch. Raise your hand if you want to tell me what you think love is. Just define it for us. Raise your hand. One of them will come to you. So here's Bill.
I think for me, love is living a purpose-driven life.
Purpose-driven life. Thank you. And one over here. Here comes Liz.
I think love, I believe that love is accepting other people for who they are, no matter where they are on their journey. They're all going through something different, and there is a plan for them that we don't need to understand yet. And so we just have to love ourselves first, and everything else it'll help other people.
Great, thank you. And then what does it mean to love ourselves first? Don, you don't have to answer that question, but tell us what love is from your point of view.
Love, to me, is like totally caring for other people and accepting them as they are, and looking past their faults, or past what I perceive as their faults.
Yeah, there's that.
To the God inside of them.
Right, yeah, what we perceive. Okay, there's one back here. Is there anybody on this side? Okay, up here.
You know, I had read a book a couple decades ago by M. Scott Peck called The Road Less Traveled, and the way he defined it has resonated with me ever since. And he defined it as love is nurturing attention. Nurturing attention.
Nurturing attention. Can we get a mic back there? We're going back to Christina, and Rick, if you'll come over here to Nancy, we'll get her next. Raise your hand again, Nancy, so he can find you.
I define love as non-judgmental, accepting, and joining with others to produce a good experience.
Thank you. And one more from Nancy.
When I experience total joy, I'm receiving love. When people around me are experiencing joy because of my presence, I am giving love. And that's how I feel about it.
Nice. Thank you. Thanks, you guys.
This is Kitty.
Oh, one more. Sorry.
It's funny because I was going to say the opposite of what she said. I was going to say when you feel joy appreciating the existence of another human being, an animal, a plant, nature, that genuine joy that you bring out because of the existence of everything else in creation, that to me is the definition of love.
Yeah, it's starting to show itself as a very large word, isn't it? Thank you. Okay, you guys, we're done with your running around for a minute. So let's talk a little bit about how unity would describe love. Because most of us usually think of love as what we either give to someone or we receive from someone. There has to be two people involved or an animal of some kind or something that we're sending love to or receiving love from. But we want to start thinking of love. And the danger of that is when we try to associate as divine love, we were taught, many of us taught, to think of a being, a father, a heavenly father who loves. But if we read enough about that heavenly father in the scripture, we might question the nature of that love, that it appears to be conditional, that we can be blessed or we can be cursed, which sounds very human-like. And that's typically what humans do when we talk about God, is we make God human-like. So instead of thinking of a God, a separate being loving us, let's begin with thinking of love as an everywhere present power. It's a force. Its nature as love is to work for good. Its nature is to see good. Its nature is to desire good. Its nature is to cause things to work together for good, for all things to be in harmony. It's everywhere present in every dimension possible. It's the foundation of all that is. Think of it as a consciousness that's also a power. So it has the ability to do things, to make activity happen, but it's always from the focus of good. Now, we're not dependent on a person to decide what love is. It's just naturally the goodness of God all the time. So the nature of God is love. And since God and you are one, your nature is love. Did you know that? That your true self, an extension of the divine, is love. That you were designed and made out of love. You were made to be loved, and you were made to love. That is our core being. When we can rise up above the humanness of ourselves, when we can set the ego aside and really make way for the Spirit to work through us. So part of our work is to get the superconscious to understand, the subconscious to understand that. And because we've grown up through our life deciding the limited version of love, we've got some training to do. We're going to have to teach it what love is and make way for what we call the superconscious, another version of the divine mind, God within, the Christ Spirit, whatever, however you want to name it, that presence within you is love. And the ideal, I think as Charles Fillmore might define it, our co-founder of Unity, would say that the superconscious within us, that is love, is meant to communicate that through the subconscious and organize its understanding of what life is all about so that the subconscious, which is responsible for our behavior, does so appropriately. So those feelings of what should I do, how should I respond, are now being guided by the superconscious. So part of our work is teaching the subconscious to listen to the Christ consciousness, superconscious consciousness within us that starts with love. So that's a bit of training, would you not say? That has to be undone and then redone as to who we really are. So another question for you, one of the ways that we know love is that it connects all things. It's a unifying force. It's a state of oneness. When we are in love, we know the state of oneness. Everything is one, but most of the time we don't know it. So when we can get into that consciousness of love, we know our oneness and our unity. I am connected. Say that with me. I am connected. Okay, let me ask you if we can get our runners to go around with their microphones again. Who wants to tell me what it means to you to be connected? Raise your hand. What's it mean to be connected? John?
To see the Christ in each person you meet.
To see the Christ is what connects you. Okay, what else? What's it mean to you to be connected? Raise your hand. I know this is kind of a hard one to put your hands on. Okay, so up here and up here. Go ahead.
I would say being connected is just being grateful for everything because you know that your feelings have created this day, that you are, every obstacle that you go through is something that you created by your subconscious based on how you were feeling. And so you should be grateful for that because it's an opportunity for improvement. It's an opportunity to impress your subconscious mind.
Thank you. Over here.
Being connected to the divine, to my heart, to my higher self, and living and acting from that place.
Thank you. Anyone else? What's it mean to you to be connected? Rick, okay, over here. Sorry, Cindy, and then we'll come over here. Sorry.
Okay. So I like to think of it as at any point of a day, either I'm a blessing to someone in front of me or I've been blessed by someone I interacted with. Like it's like a flow.
Great, thank you. Okay, over here.
When I think of being connected, I think about focusing on being present with the experience of the person in front of you, present with your experience in nature, present with what you're living in the moment. So I think about being present to be connected.
Wonderful. And Christina behind you.
When I think of connected, I think of looking at others and seeing that I am not really separate from them, no matter what their political opinions are. And as much as I would like to be separated, I'm not. But loving means that I accept them for their confusion today.
Okay, thank you. Here's one up here. Rick, you want to run up here? And then you can come over here for Don.
Oh, thank you. Kind of with what she was saying, I think of it as we're always connected, and it's about relationship, things coming together and understanding. I guess we could be disconnected if our understanding isn't there, but we're always in relationship in some way or form.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Don?
What occurred to me is namaste. The God or spirit in me sees the God and spirit in you.
Yeah.
And I've been adding, and in everything.
And in everything. Thank you. One more person? Anybody else? One more person? Are we good?
Kitty, I was going to just say that's me.
Oh,
Hi.
you? I was like, how did that happen?
We're all
We're
connected.
one. That's right.
So an example of connection for me is when I share a laugh. Like we all just shared a laugh together.
Yeah.
Like that is so fun. And it's like something you can't really describe. And it's like, wow, like that's awesome. It feels so good. So that, yeah, that's what came up for me is connection is like, could be through just a laugh, you know?
Great. Thank you. So if we, oneness is really the heart of what unity, and hey, look at our name, unity, that's what it's about as well, is that there's only one presence. So whenever we start with the question of those who are separate from us and we don't like them, it's impossible, really, the word them at that point, at that level, that absolute nature doesn't exist. There is no them. There's just one. And we are all that oneness. Start with it as a field of energy. That might help you with this. That there's a single field of energy, and though we are vibrating at different frequencies and we express uniquely as each one of us, it's still a foundation of a single field of energy that we're all part of. And that's why even quantum physics would tell us that when you connect with something, is the neuron, the electron, anybody in quantum physics want to help me? In some type of interaction, that person or that neuron can go millions of miles across the universe, and you do something here and it knows it over there. So science is showing us there's only one. There's only one field of energy. And what that means is, what I do to myself, I do to others. This is where the collective consciousness comes in, that we all share in a single consciousness. And what I'm holding in my consciousness, chronically or regularly, contributes to the one mind that we all participate in. At subconscious layer, we're being affected by what other people think. And speaking of elections, majority rules. Majority rules. Until we get to a tipping point where enough high thinking, high feeling, high being consciousness contributes, and that's when we start to see, oh, I never thought I'd forget this word. Teilhard de Chardin has a word where there's is it a peduncle? Yeah, we hit a peduncle and suddenly there's a major shift, a major uplifting of the whole. So we are one, and we are contributing to that all the time. What I do to myself, I do to others. You know, the golden rule that's known in every faith is that what I do to others, I do to myself. But it's probably the most basic that we might know is do unto others what you would have them do to you. Because it will happen, whether you know the rule or not. Stephanie Michelle has written a book that I've been referring to off and on throughout this series called Chakras and Shadow Work, and she said, to repeat, I am connected 108 times, not only has a spiritual effect on your energy, but also has a scientific effect on the body, mind, and spirit. Saying something in repetition creates a belief system in the body. I am connected is simple, yet has the intention of creating a connection to source or God energy. Once you're open to the energy or reality you're trying to bring into your life, you will start to see it show up. to see possibilities and open doors that you were once blind to. You'll begin to project what you want. First, you say it, then you believe it, then you see it, then you become it. Does that not sound like our third principle in unity? Does that not demonstrate why we do so many affirmations in unity? We have a whole table full of prayer beads out there. If you want to do 108 or whatever repetitions, get yourself some prayer beads, handmade by us right here, and just say, I am connected. Take a breath. I am connected. Take a breath. Your lungs will certainly be full. Your oxygen will certainly be passing through your body at 108 repetitions and 108 breaths. But my point is, it can help you change what's in the subconscious and begin to experience it throughout your body. This is not some human psychological thing we figured out. It's a design by divine mind for us to grow and change, to be able to overcome this physical world that we live in and these physical beings that we live in, but not who we are. One of the other things that is written in the scriptures from the Apostle Paul, he's writing to the Romans, he said, love is the fulfilling of the law. Now, at the time, he was talking about the Ten Commandments law, and that if they would love, all the very detailed Ten Commandments would be fulfilled. Let's metaphysically interpret that statement, that love is the fulfillment of the law. The law, metaphysically, is the one divine law we're talking about, that what we think and feel and believe, we attract to us. That's our third principle. Thoughts held in mind produce in kind. So when we're holding in consciousness hate, major disagreement, I'm guessing right now we're going through that experience in life where somebody thinks differently than you about something important, and every time you get near someone like that, this anger or frustration, all kinds of negative emotions come up in us. What is that doing? According to the divine law, it's just bringing more of the same back to us. But if we were to learn how to love those people just as they are and accept them for who they are and how they think, then what we're doing is activating the law to function as it will and attract back to us more love, more acceptance for ourselves, more things working together for the highest good of everyone involved. We basically changed the trajectory of our life, because as we hold consciousness of, you're no good, I'll just say it, you're stupid, you're an idiot, that's what many of us might be thinking right now, then this changes the trajectory by introducing love, so that instead of bringing in stupid, becoming stupid, feeling more irritation, now you've changed it to love, you're bringing in good. You're becoming good, you're seeing good, you're desiring good, everywhere you look is good. That's the fulfillment of the law. You have undone the trajectory, or even karma, if you want to use that word, and you are now changing it so that you can receive the highest and the best, because you've introduced the highest and the best, which is love. Now, one of the things that we talk about with love that many people label as selfish, to me is an absolute requirement. Love yourself first. We can't learn how to love others unconditionally if we haven't been able to do it for ourselves. Something that Sue Sicking wrote was, love is the power that can banish hospitals, old age, loneliness, unhappiness, and want. It's the power that can set us free from all bondage, but first, it must be set free to work through us. And nothing gets past that lower, heavier, critical emotion of the ego, or the ego's mind, to help others unless we first let that go and learn how to accept ourselves for who we are, to love ourselves for who we are. They have done a study of, have done a study of couples in relationship, and they were able to discern through some questioning as to the group of people that were those who didn't love themselves, that they resisted who they were, versus the people in the group who did love themselves. So some of the things that they discovered was, for those who don't love themselves, In relationship, they tend to overreact to problems because they don't love themselves. They tend to see signs of rejection when they aren't there, when the partner is not rejecting them. They're still seeing it. They tend to put their partners down in order to defend themselves. And they also end up reducing their closeness with the person in their relationship because they aren't able to love themselves first. On the other hand, those who can find a way to love themselves for who they are and practice that regularly are less sensitive to rejection. They appreciate their partners more, and they feel closer in their relationship. Even when partners are projecting problems into it, they still have the ability to feel closer to that partner because they've learned how to love themselves. They live with less depression and anxiety. They live with more peace, more life satisfaction. Loving ourselves first not only serves us, but it serves everyone that we're involved with. It makes a difference in how we respond to them. And this, my friends, loving ourselves first, is how you are going to have access to the kingdom of heaven, how you're going to align your being with your higher spiritual self so that you can know what it's like to hear from the heart instead of from the ego. When we can love ourselves first, we can be ourself more easily, our true self, not the selfish self. And when we learn how to love ourselves more easily, life becomes more meaningful and joy-filled. So we might want to make that our first priority. No matter how negative we're behaving, Sanea Roman said that when you feel loving, you experience more aliveness, expansion, and renewal. Love is accepting yourself and others just as you and they are. Unconditional love dissolves all separateness. As you learn to love yourselves and others more, you increase your vibration. Your energy takes on that smoother, finer vibration of the higher dimensions, and you become your higher self in expression, in this human experience. So let's walk through a few steps about how to love. This may feel heady to you, but let's face it, our head gets in the way of love. We have to retrain the head so that we make the space open for the true love to just flow through us. So there's a few things I want you to keep in mind. When you're thinking about how can I love more, stop thinking about it first as getting better at liking that person and thinking more of there's a power here of love. I'm going to lean into that. The infinite presence of God is love, and it's available to me right now. So as Charles Fillmore would say, love is the power that joins and binds in divine harmony, the universe and everything in it. Love sees good everywhere and in everybody. It insists that all is good, and by refusing to see anything but good, this is cool, it causes that quality finally to appear uppermost in itself and in all things. Divine love will bring your own to you, adjust all misunderstandings, and make your life and affairs happy, harmonious, and free. Doesn't that sound good? Doesn't that sound good? Yes. Okay, there you are. Yeah. So remember, we live in an energy of love that has no conditions on you. It has no requirements for you to receive its love. It can't help itself. It's its nature to love. So all we have to do first is know that. When we're learning how to love, know that it's all around us, it's giving of itself to us all the time, and it lives right here in our heart, available to us all the time. Secondly, don't resist when you have those feelings of negative emotions. Oftentimes we feel them and think, oh, I can't be loving. I'm feeling angry today. I can't be loving. I'm feeling depressed today. Okay, so how about instead of resisting those negative emotions, we embrace them because we realize as spiritual beings, we came here for this experience. We came here to have these negative emotions, not to avoid them, but to have them, acknowledge what they are, acknowledge that they're coming from that lower self, sending them love and generosity so that we know in consciousness I don't have to change first in order to be loved. I can accept myself as I am. That's how many of you just defined what love is. So Sanea Roman says, love all the parts of yourself, even those thoughts and feelings you may have labeled as negative. Love your insecurities and your negative feelings. You don't change your imperfections by denying them. You change them by loving them. As you love your negative feelings, they can evolve into their positive expressions. So when we deny them, they stay stuck in us. When we resist them, they stay stuck in us. When we love them, they dissolve. They are transformed. They are raised to a higher frequency. They reveal your truer self. Accept yourself. So as you're acknowledging these negative feelings, you might just want to ask the ego, what is it that you're trying to do for me? Because it always is. It's trying to do something. It's not necessarily very smart about it, but it thinks, these negative emotions are a result of me trying to protect myself, right? And usually whatever it is that comes up as the answer to that question, what are you trying to do for me, is going to be based on an error of some kind. Like, right now I'm trying to find a way to be accepted and loved by everybody. Or right now, I'm trying to make sure that my bills are paid. Or right now, I'm trying to make sure that I'm popular. Okay? And if I'm not popular, I won't be loved. Is that based in truth? No, it's not based in truth. So once you let it speak, have it say, tell you what's going on, thank it for its sharing. Thank you for trying to protect me. Thank you for trying to make my life better. Now, let's take a listen to the truth. And here's the third step, is ask your heart what it wants. Your higher self. Now remember, the subconscious is busy blocking it from all your life's learning. So you have to engage that subconscious and just say, subconscious, listen to your superconscious. Allow it in, listen to it, and follow its direction. And your heart's probably going to say something like, don't sweat the small stuff. I mean, it can be just as casual and easy and simple as that. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's probably going to speak your language and sound like your voice in your head, so be prepared for that. Don't take it personally. That's what your higher self is going to say, something like that. And it's probably going to invite you to do something. Maybe figure out whether you're better at giving or receiving. Check in with your heart right now. Am I better at giving or receiving? So whatever it is that you're better at, do the opposite. Do the opposite. So here's why. If we are better at giving, and we spend a lot of our time in relationship giving, you're probably exhausted. You're probably a little bit frustrated, feeling like nobody's giving back to you. And it's pulling you further and further away from maybe the original purpose and moving you closer to your ego. So instead of giving so much, and this is usually typical of older souls, I think, is that maybe this time around you came to learn how to receive. So set an intention to receive more. And you probably, once you look for receiving, you'll probably discover you have been being offered good all along. You've just been so busy trying to give that you're missing it. So this is one of the ways that we get back into that balanced energy, that open chakra, where we are living more balanced of giving and receiving. And if you're the person who's been receiving, think of yourself as a younger soul who's more focused on self-centeredness, selfishness, trying to protect itself, making sure it gets all the good stuff first, making sure everybody loves us and thinks we're awesome. So we're taking from others until we can start to feel that, which, by the way, you never will. You'll never meet that requirement of the ego. Start trying to give a little bit more. Take your thoughts off yourself and see how you can give to others and lift them up. Not to get something back. This is unconditional love. No requirements, no expectations, but just giving love to those around us. And this will help to balance and allow more of your higher self to shine through. So step 4 is see loving as a practice. I would like to say that it will come naturally to you, but not until we've done some work healing what's in the subconscious. So treat this as a practice, just like going to the gym every day. Make time. Remember the to-do list? Now's the time. Put it on your to-do list. If you have to have a list, put it at the top. Put it in the middle and put it at the bottom. Love. And as we do that more, if we find ways to accept and allow, we keep a check on the negative emotions, and as soon as they come up, we check in and find out what the problem is, and then go back to accepting and allowing what is, then little by little, we will start to live it more regularly without having to even think about it. Charles Fillmore said, one should make it a practice to meditate regularly on the love idea in universal mind with the prayer, divine love, manifest yourself in me. Think about love, and all the ideas that go to make up love will be set into motion. What did you have to do? Think about love. How hard is that? Think about love. This produces a positive love current, which when sent forth with power, will break up opposing thoughts of hate and render them null and void. And then it will leak out into the collective consciousness and support those who need it as well. Think about love. I love myself. I accept myself. I am good. I am love. I am loving. I am loved. I am connected. I am one. Just find simple statements like that to remind yourself of who you really are. Let me finish with May Rowland, and then we'll do a really good meditation. If you are not attracting the good that you desire in your life, learn to express love. Become a radiating center of love, and you will find that love. The divine magnet within you will change your whole world. Love is an innate quality in humankind, and it needs only to be called forth to express all its radiance. Only to be called forth. Divine love, manifest yourself in me. I'm going to call my musicians up here, and let's take some time in the quiet. We're going to use that note, F. So just notice it as it starts to play. There's going to be a few other notes going on, but there's going to be an underlying note, F. And just feel it in your heart. Just allow that energy of music to move into your heart space. And imagine it cleansing and clearing and opening up everything that might be in the way. Let's close our eyes and remember that our element is air. Deep breath to open your heart, your lungs. Breathe in, fresh. Breathe out, worries. Breathe in air through your nose and feel it. Breathe out, relaxing. Breathe in, fresh. Breathe out, love. I deeply and completely love myself. Breathe in, fresh. Allow your being to soften and become as light as air. Breathe in, fresh. Breathe out, floating and light, seeing yourself as air, feeling its freshness moving through you. I feel light. I feel pure. I feel fresh. I'm in harmony with myself and others. Free, pure, fresh, as light as air. My attention drops to my heart space. And I imagine a beautiful green sphere of light, color of an emerald green, vibrating in my heart space. I breathe in fresh, this beautiful sphere of green grows brighter. And I see good everywhere. As my heart beats, this beautiful sphere of green gets brighter and spreads out throughout my upper body. As I see good in everyone, everywhere. Breathe in fresh. My heart space glows this beautiful green, moves this color down through my body. So my entire being is filled with this beautiful, loving, fresh, green energy. I am loving and I am loved. The power of love is healing my life and my world. Breathing in fresh, feeling my heart beating life through my body. Being touched by this beautiful radiating green sphere of light. Divine love, manifest yourself in me. I create a life full of unconditional love. I love without expectation. I live in love. I live in God. As I live in love, all things work for good. My heart of love connects me to all that is. I am connected to love. This is the truth of my being. And now I I let it be. So it is. Amen.